Not trying to say anything crazy, but I think I've got it set up just right. Now the most important part's just going to be seeing if you guys can hear me before we really get to cranking this morning. But ooh, I love that. Really happy to have you guys here, although I know that nobody's actually here just yet. For anybody who doesn't know, by the way, if you hear any strange water sounds going on in the background, just letting you guys know that my wife is currently taking a shower. It's very possible that she's going to actually join this stream, which would be super duper fun. But here we are, standing in front of my fragrances as per usual. Just want to let you guys come in and tell me how my sound is before I get going too long. Ooh, that really is super nice. I love that. Good morning, everybody, by the way. Andrew here, Douglas Moon. My wife's going to be joining the stream potentially here in a little bit, and we're going to talk about some of her favorite fragrances in the collection. But as you guys can see, anybody who's new here, if anybody pops through, has never seen my channel before, I'd love to talk with you guys about any questions you got. I still am going through, because I did a video recently between Club de Nuit Untold and Baccarat Rouge. And to be honest with you guys, it is still kind of surprising me how well they actually deal with this. Not to like say that there aren't good fragrance houses out there doing dupes, but this actually really did kill it. It's not perfect, I will say that. Obviously, if you're thinking about something that's made with the quality of ingredients that Maison Francis Kirkjohn uses in his fragrances. By the way, just throwing this out there, you guys can hear me pretty well. Just want to make sure before I keep going for too long. But thank you guys to anybody who stopped through here this morning. It means a lot to me to have this time with y'all. It's my Wednesday stream. It's going to be nice and rainy outside. But as well, I just want to make sure that I'm not too loud. So if anybody popping through can let me know if you can hear me pretty okay. That'd be nice. But yeah, as always, answering questions about fragrances, talking about anything you guys got on your mind. Gonna wait till a couple more people get through here before we get really cranking up this morning. But been thinking a lot about dupes recently. Been thinking a lot about clones, especially after I got Untold by Armafin the other day, and been kind of rewearing and going over Sillage by the same company, Club de Nuit, and comparing it as well, Rayhan's Elixir, Hawass Elixir, things like that. I've been thinking a lot about dupes and clones lately, and trying to really narrow down the best way I can express to you guys how I feel about dupes in general in comparison to like the real deal. By the way, again, if anybody's watching, could you guys please let me know how I sound? Can you hear me pretty good? Give it a little sip. Sure, Curtis, that's what you want. So actually, I wasn't trying to fake that cough. It actually happened. But I will tell you, the other day, there was a fragrance I sprayed, and I did it with my mouth open, and I accidentally got some in. I don't remember which fragrance it was. I think it was Grand Soir, but I got to say, it wasn't the worst taste I've ever had in my life. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. Wow, what if I actually swallowed some there? But yeah, thank you for being here, you guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch. If you guys could, again, if you could let me know how I sound, if my microphone's too close to my mouth, I'd appreciate the info. Again, my wife actually might be joining this stream after she gets done getting ready for the day and talking about fragrances and some of her favorite fragrances with me. So that'd be pretty fun. But thank you guys for coming through here. Good morning. I'm Andrew, aka Douglas Moon, talking about fragrances with y'all. And this morning specifically, even though this conversation can go anywhere, we're going to start off with dupes. Happy birthday. Well, thank you for coming through. My birthday was last weekend. And it's kind of strange that you said that, because even though I'm thankful for it, today it was actually me and my wife were going to re-celebrate for my birthday. So she had to work on my actual birthday day on the other Sunday. So we're actually going to do that today and have a good time. But I appreciate you for being here. Although then again, I can't remember if you're just saying, maybe you're just saying it, I don't know. But either way, again, anybody who comes through, if you want to ask me any questions, I'm about to start talking personally about dupes and clones myself. But if anybody has any particular fragrance questions, any bond number 9. Ken, thank you for stopping by and asking questions and watching the view. So I personally don't have any bond number 9. There's a store that I'm going to today. That's where I usually sample those fragrances at. It's Nordstrom in North Carolina, where I'm at. I think they're pretty decent, but to be honest with you, I never purchased any because they're just not my style as a whole. The fragrance house just really isn't my personal favorite. I think they're well done. Bond number 9s are not bad fragrances. They're just very hyped up right now, and they're not really none of their formulations are really for me. So I'm not going to give you my thoughts basically because I don't ever talk about stuff I don't personally know. So, but if you guys see anything here you'd like to ask questions about before I really get started, and again, just asking. Nobody's told me just yet, but if anybody could let me know in the chat how my audio sounds, because this shirt has a high collar. Don't want to be too loud. What is the best stronger with you? Thank you, Ahaz, for watching. I really appreciate you. Personally, my favorite is the Parfum. So I've got a little sample vial, even though I've smelled them all like in person multiple times and tried them out, and have a friend who's got absolutely, a friend who's got intensely. Parfum is my favorite. This is my favorite. And also, I don't have it, but sandalwood, the Stronger With You sandalwood is pretty fantastic. But the Parfum is my absolute favorite. And down at the bottom, again, I've got Intensely. I like the Intensely. Absolutely is probably my least favorite of the Stronger With You line. That's just my opinion. It's all up to everybody. By the way, I like to keep it super honest with you guys. As a 32-year-old man who's getting old in this world and has gut problems, if you accidentally hear me fart while we do these microphones sometimes pick up random background noises that they really shouldn't. Just let it go or pretend that I stepped on a duck or something like that. So, you pronounce my name better than people in my city. Well, that makes me very happy because I always want to be respectful when I'm pronouncing people's names on here. There's people from all over the world who joins these chats, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. So again, for anybody new here, my name is Andrew, but also my channel goes by my middle name, so you can call me Douglas Moon. And I just like to answer you guys' questions about fragrances, but as well, I always have like some type of topic of discussion before I get started. But so still gonna ask because nobody's told me just yet if my audio is picking up pretty good from my microphone. I don't want to be blowing you guys' eardrums off or sound like too rustly or anything like that. Real tree tattoo. I don't have a real tree tattoo, but that wouldn't be bad because of all of the. This is a Hollister camo, but when I normally wear camo, I personally like real tree myself. Just throwing it out there. I don't know how many of you guys watching this would know anything about that. But to Mountain RC Farm here, yeah, I'm a real tree guy. I have a little mossy oak, but I don't wear Drake or anything like that because it's a little too pricey for me. Can you describe the Valentino profile sim? Well, to be honest with you, I'm going to start with some descriptive words and not just note profiles. But when it comes to Valentino, youthful, very youthful. The whole entire Uomo line, to some degree or another, is almost like a variation take on Ultra Male by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Again, that's just, it's what I get from it. Put on a shirt. That's very funny, Enrique. I like that. But to Chad, basically, that is your name, right? Chad. But thank you guys for being here, by the way, and for watching. Again, ask any questions you want, fire away. And also, again, my wife might be joining the stream in a little while to answer some questions that she loves about fragrances and stuff. But basically, yeah, the Valentino line, very youthful, kind of bubblegummy, especially in the Uomo line. Now, Coral Fantasy is a very distinct apple tobacco fragrance. It's very wonderful. I love it. It's an eau de toilette, but it has very good lasting power and projection. For those of you who don't know, a lot of the time, eau de toilettes don't have the best performance in the world. They smell very nice and bright at first due to the higher alcohol concentration. Perfumer's alcohol is what makes fragrance lift off the skin very strong, which is why parfums, which is a higher oil concentration, last way longer, but usually is more gentle to the skin instead of blasting off of you like an eau de toilette would do when you first put it on. But anyway, sorry about that. If you guys come and enjoy my channel, you'll notice that I talk a lot and I ramble a lot, which is why I love doing this and get to know you guys, and you guys get to know me as well. So, have you tried Louis Vuitton Imagination? You reckon it's worth the crazy price? So, Brunito, thank you for being here. No, it is absolutely not worth the crazy price. So here's the thing that's bothering me lately. This is what I always talk about when it comes to fragrances. I personally am not a fan. Sorry for putting this up there. I feel like it helps you guys take me serious. But this is my silver play button I got not long ago. Super proud about that. But so basically, Louis Vuitton fragrances, they're nice. My favorite personal perfumer, Aaron Terrence Hughes, he as well enjoys some of the Louis Vuitton fragrances like Ombre Nomad, Pacific Chill. I think that they're very decent, but for what it's worth, they're extremely overpriced because they're also somewhat basic. Louis Vuitton fragrances is like very basic fragrances with a twist, which is fine because, again, you could also say the same thing about one of my favorites, Bleu de Chanel Parfum. But for what it's worth, it's cool chamomile. I appreciate that, Andrew. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I have way too much camo, to be honest with you guys. I don't even have all of it in my closet here right now with me, but in the front closet that we have in the house is where I keep my actual like real stuff. But ironically, this is my favorite one of all that I got, and this came from Hollister of all places, instead of like the stuff that I like to wear, like Realtree and all that. Just really Hollister clothes, by the way. I'm not a fashion person whatsoever. Like I like fashion, but as you can see, I'm not a very fashionable person. But if you guys ever want to get like decent shirts that last a long time for an okay price, go to Hollister. Don't go to Abercrombie, all that crap. Hollister has really good stuff that fits really well, feels really nice and comfortable, but it actually lasts. So maybe one day I'll be sponsored. Who knows? But anyway, but yeah, just answering you, Brunito, like to really hammer it down. If you're interested in Louis Vuitton fragrances, I just don't recommend going for it because there's so many other options out there. But I think if you're really going to do it, that's your choice. But my whole channel is to try to sway you guys away from spending like your hard-earned money on stuff that's not necessarily worth it. And Louis Vuitton fragrances get hyped up a lot by social media creators like me for having great performance, but they really don't. They're not that great. Just throwing it out there. So these are my opinions. Again, you guys are more than welcome to disagree with me. That's fine. That's the awesome thing about art, about fragrance, is that this is art and creativity, and we can all feel different and have differing thoughts and opinions about it. But when it comes down to it, that's really my thing, is that I want my channel to be a place where I just shoot it straight with you guys and save you guys from spending your money on stuff just because other creators are telling you it's awesome when it isn't that great. Check out Swazi, New Zealand. Cool gear. Thank you for letting me know. I will definitely check that out. Although it sounds like it's probably a little bit expensive, so I might not be able to check it out anytime soon. But I might don't let my fragrance collection, if it does fool you in any way, shape, or form, please don't let it, because I'm certainly not like rolling in money or wealthy by any means of the stretch of the imagination. But I will say this to any of you guys who are stopping through here, so we're going to get back to talking about fragrances, but I do want to ask you guys a question. So on my channel yesterday, because during our live streams recently, I've kind of let slip over the past couple of weeks about how me and my wife, for fun, used to go like ghost hunting, paranormal investigating. So yesterday, I actually posted one of our investigations from like a year and a half or so ago. So I was just curious to any of you guys who actually are like regulars to my channel and stuff, if you guys are okay with that, because I know that it's not really good for your channel to be posting stuff that's not really I know it's not really good for your channel to post stuff that's not related to your normal thing. And since I am a fragrance channel and I do this kind of stuff, but because my algorithm's like not really existing right now, just want to know before I answer you guys' questions, if you guys are like all right with me doing that kind of stuff. If not, I guess I'll delete it or whatever. But if you guys are cool with like videos of me and my wife just going ghost hunting for fun, please let me know. Been wondering because I can't even try. So that's another one of those issues. Tried Givenchy. How was that? If you tried that, Matthew, please let me know if it was any good. But yeah, Louis Vuitton, definitely try to tell people please don't do it because they're so expensive. It's just not really worth it. A real man not use perfume. Well, you know what, Tony? That's not really true, is it? Historically, the wealthiest and most powerful, and as well also people expressing themselves artistically, definitely use fragrances. But you know what? That's your opinion, Tony. Everybody's allowed to have them, that don't make them all right. Did you ever smell Versace blue jeans? So I have not. Again, I'm not going to throw that, say that I have or like fake it or pretend. I'm never going to tell you guys I smelled something that I didn't. And I'm glad it was very good, Matthew. Thank you for letting me know. Chose Up Corporation, Mercedes-Benz and C. Thank you for the suggestion. Bad Boy Carolina Cobalt, absolutely. So Cobalt is a very nice fragrance. I do like Carolina Herrera fragrances. They're not really my style, but I will say that they are fantastically done. And that's another thing. Again, to anybody who's new to my community, I want to always encourage you guys. Good morning, F. Torre. Thank you so much for being here. Post whatever your heart desires. Life is way too short. You're absolutely correct, my friend. It is. The only reason I ask is because, again, on your channel, especially if you want your channel to continue to grow and develop, which I do, really been trying to work hard to get my algorithm back in traction ever since what happened before. I definitely don't want to put stuff out there that like puts people off from my channel and be like, what is this crap? Why is this here? But again, as you guys know, during these live streams, I like to talk about not just fragrances, but anything. And since some of you guys are interested in like we're not like, we have fun during our paranormal investigation videos. We have like a lot of fun laughing and cutting out, but we're not disrespectful actually in person. So if you guys watch it, they weren't edited very well, but I was just trying to do what I could and we were having a good time. But just throwing it out there. Got Vulcan Few coming. Do you have any favorite natural smelling fragrances? But yeah, so happy for you guys to be here. And I really appreciate y'all so much for taking the time to watch, because like I said, as always, this is where I like to just develop a community where we can actually hang out and talk. But Vulcan Few, I'm glad you got that on the way, because again, even though it's been hard for a lot of people to come by, and even though I keep talking about how it isn't this massive monster that people keep making it out to be, like, it does have good longevity. For what it's worth, it does, like, if you spray it on the skin, especially in a good spot where you're not going to sweat too much, it will have good lasting power for the most part, but it's not this monster people keep making it out to be. So that's my big issue, is just these channels keep, a lot of these channels, it's mostly on TikTok. It's not so bad on YouTube, but a lot of these like TikTokers and stuff keep blowing these types of fragrances up, and they're just not as good as people say. But I will try to answer you guys real fast. Who asked, do you have any favorite natural smelling fragrances? Favorite natural smelling fragrances? I guess it's going to depend on what you mean by natural, but I would say that, ooh, let me think about that one for a second, actually, before I really throw anything at you guys. So I think that this one, Boadicea de Victorious Ardent, I know this is going to sound a little odd, but like it's mostly rosy saffron that comes off very strong for me, but it comes off in a way that smells a little bit more realistic in the composition. It's very expensive, don't get me wrong, but it smells a little bit more realistic in the overall composition. I would say, though, that for the most part, most of the fragrances that I have some varying degree of a synthetic feel to them, like all fragrances kind of do. I don't think I have too many that are like overtly natural in the way that I would want to call it that, except for, as odd as this is going to sound, Roses Greedy by Mancera, because my wife works with flowers. So, and she might be coming through here soon, so you guys get to talk to her for a little while and say, hey. But Roses Greedy by Mancera probably has one of the most like naturally existing tuberose and just like general lily of the valley rose material. And so I think that's probably the best I can really do. Um, Top 3 masculine fragrances: Bleu de Chanel Parfum, Sauvage Parfum, or Eau de Parfum, or Eau de Toilette, really, but Sauvage definitely. And then I would say, Club de Nuit Intense Parfum's pretty good choice, but I would say definitely Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage, and then probably Stronger With You. Probably the Stronger With You line, really good masculine fragrances with still some depth and richness there. Hot Lodge Island, Vanilla Dunes, Opus Grande, and Paris Corner. Oh, very fantastic choices you got there, buddy. Awesome. I'm glad you let me know. But definitely Hot Lodge Island, Vanilla Dunes. My wife, I had her compare Vanilla Dunes to, on the last live stream, I had her compare Vanilla Dunes to Liquid Room. And it's funny because for me, depending on the mood, depending on the day, my mood shifts. But I will say Liquid Room speaks to me more often, mostly because it has like a little bit more of a dense sweetness. But my wife personally preferred Vanilla Dunes because she said that just there was a bit more, there is a bit more wealth and luxury to the scent profile. So I would say it's a little more regal, whereas Liquid Brune is a lot more just like in your face if you want that vanilla pod sweetness. So, but yeah, thank you guys for rolling through here. Again, I've been asking, but nobody's actually told me yet, so I just want to be sure. Is the audio okay? Because it's very close. This shirt has a very high up collar, so it kind of rubs on my neck a lot. I just want to make sure that you guys aren't getting bothered by anything before I keep going for too long. You ever smell Pure Excess? I heard the performance is not too great. Do you know? So I have never personally smelled Pure Excess. Sounds great. Thank you for letting me know, F. Torre. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm definitely continuing to try to check out, but I'm going to get much better microphones for you guys pretty soon. It seems that these mics somehow sound better during live streams than they do on Pure Access. Is awesome. So thank you for letting me know. Let's see, above natural. I'd want something that's similar to Azzaro's, something smoky. Love that type of smell. Got any recommendations? Something smoky. So I actually cannot remember what that particular profile is. If anybody in the chat could let me know, is it like a gourmand? Is it something sweet like cardamom, cinnamon type of smell with smoke to it? Or is it just more of like a smoked oudi incense type of fragrance? So I'm not going to answer you until I know. I could look it up right now, but I don't want to pause too much of that. So if you could, let me know, is it like a delicious type of fragrance with some smoke to it? Or is it more of an incensey type of thing, sandalwoody, something like that? Because either way you go, I could suggest some stuff for you, but I also would like to know what your price range is as well, so I don't have you spending too much or, you know, not spending enough, depending on what you're looking for. But again, anybody coming through here, you're always welcome. to ask me questions about whatever you would like. I'm just here to hang out with you guys and kind of shoot the breeze today a little bit. Let's see, sandalwoody, I'd say. Okay, so something a little smoky, sandalwoody. That's an interesting choice. So the first thing I'm going to go with here is definitely not necessarily sandalwoody, but this is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. If you've got the money for it, Naxos by Xerjoff. I think on certain discounters like Fragrance Net, I'm pretty sure you can get this for maybe like 150, something like that. Again, if you bought this full price, it's like 250 something, pretty expensive. It's not the cheapest fragrance, but it is a tobacco leaf with honey and sweetness. It is very, very incredible, very strong, and lasts forever. Like, this is one of those few that actually does last an extremely long time. And it's just an overall fantastic fragrance and one of my favorites of all time. Something that has, like, even though it's more sweet tobacco leaf instead of smoked tobacco, it still has like a very beautiful, rich, mildly smoky-like quality to the base, and it just sticks to the skin like super glue. So Nexus by Xerjoff, not a bad recommendation. I know lately a lot of people have been talking about Hamra by Latafa. I'm not the biggest proponent of cheaper fragrances unless they are very well done, but I will say this is not too bad. This definitely isn't necessarily, again, these aren't really smoky, but yet because of the cinnamon and because of the spice mixes in it, it has like a feel that comes off that way. Because when I really think of genuine smoky, I think of like probably rose incense or royal tobacco by Amouage, something along those lines. And as well, you kind of get that same vibe. You might like this. I don't really like this that much anymore, but I will say it's a good fragrance. But Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, also a pretty good fragrance to go for in that kind of market. And let's see, what's up? What's up, Taher? Thank you for being here, buddy. If you're looking for smoky scent, try Latafa. I mean, ooh, very good choice. And that's another thing. Caught you streaming. You sure did catch me streaming. I'm super happy to have you here. And by the way, just for you guys who are new here, on my fragrance community, whenever we do these live streams on Wednesdays, I got a handful of buddies who come through and hang out as well, who have come through this space that we do this. And they also have fantastic taste. So if there's ever anything I don't know or can't give you guys a good suggestion, you can probably most likely trust my other buddies here as well. I'll see. We'll keep that in mind. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Can you recommend any best dupes of Lemale Elixir? Genji Namikaze, thank you so for being here. I don't know what time it is where you are. I don't know if you're actually Japanese or not, but what is it? Ohio gozaimasu? I think that's what you're supposed to say. So I would say, best dupes. So probably I'm going to steer people in the direction of Rayhan's Elixir, because I will say it has a really good performance. Hawass Elixir, surprisingly, is actually extremely well done, but this is called Tom Ford Noir Stream. Give me just a second. So Hawass Elixir is actually very well done. I'm not really a big Hawass person, not a huge fan. I don't really push it on people very much, but I will say I have it over here, and Hawass's Elixir, after the very harsh opening, actually turns into like a really good take on the Lemale Elixir overall DNA. But I think Rayhan Elixir kind of holds it up the best. It's a little bit less on the honey and more on the tonka bean, but it's very much a perfect take if you want to go for something in that direction. It seems a lot of one-to-one. So it's not a one-to-one. That's an issue that I not against you. Like, you're definitely saying what people are saying online. By the way, real quick, SR, thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys for watching. The closest to Noir Extreme for cheap, I've not personally smelled any. So again, I never want to suggest anything to anybody that I don't have my own nose on. I won't do that. I'm not selling you guys crap. I'm not pushing you guys to spend money on something if I can't actually tell you myself that I've tried it, and also not on strips. I hate that crap. People just trying stuff on strips and telling you how it smells. That's not how you use perfumery. That's not how you give reviews about perfumery. You have to actually sample things on the skin. I think we all know that the opening, or I'm going to teach you guys if you don't know, the opening notes to most fragrances don't really mean a lot. It's nice to attract you in, but most of the time, if they were made very well, they fade. Once the opening notes are gone, what really matters is the composition underneath there from the perfumer. The more skilled they are, the more layered that's going to be. So trying stuff on the skin, definitely the most important thing, because you're going to get how it performs and breaks down from your body heat. With that being said, I'm not going to tell you guys anything that I haven't actually tried, because I don't want you spending your money on some crap that, again, like, you're going to come back down on me, and also it'll be bad for you guys' wallet. So with that being said, This is personally disgusting to me tattoos. Well, hey, you know what, GK? That's how you feel. I mean, everybody don't like them. To be completely honest with you guys, my own personal taste has changed since I was young. So if I could go back and not have any myself, I probably would do that. But there's nothing wrong with people having them. And if you feel they're disgusting, that's your personal problem. By the way, if anybody else ever comes through my chat streams and has a problem with the way I look or the tattoos or whatever, that's totally your opinion. You'll feel that way and you're welcome to it. But you don't got to stay, so you can keep scrolling. I'm never going to be hateful. I'm not going to argue with you guys. I'll pop in from time to time. Thank you for being here, Redbeard. Just letting you know, by the way, also, my wife's going to be popping through as well at some point potentially before we have to go. We're not going to be streaming for as long as we normally do this morning. So anybody who doesn't know, who's new here, I stream every Wednesday. And that's just what I do because that's my day off. I'm also trying to, as well, when I can, do Saturdays and Sundays, but I'm always here to answer your questions about fragrances. But even more than that, here to hang out. If anybody ever wants to just shoot the breeze and talk, get to know each other, you're more than welcome to come through here and talk to me about whatever you'd like. Appreciate your honesty between strips and skin. More than people understood. Untold is really powerful. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. So Untold is a monster, and that's what's really been surprising me because my buddies like Redbeard here was, by the way, thank you again, Jonathan. I really appreciate you. My buddy was recommending Untold, and I was nervous because, again, I don't personally wear Baccarat Rouge. My wife does. It's a fantastic smell. I love it when she puts it on, but it's not really for me. It's saffron and resinous fir, and it's bright, and it has a fruity quality to it, even though technically speaking, if you look at the note compositions for Baccarat Rouge, it doesn't necessarily have anything built into it from their official website that is like that, but saffron with the fir kind of does that. But even though, again, it's not an absolute one-to-one, it's very, very rare. The only fragrance so far that I have come across where the dupe or clone has an actual like one-to-one, if you could call it that, is definitely the Altair line. So when you compare Vanilla Dunes and Liquid Broom, again, now they are different. They have their own mild change-offs, but they still really kind of hit it right on the head for the most part. Untold is close to 540 once macerated. It is, from what I've been told, but I'm just saying that at the end of the day, it's very close even as it is. Straight away out of the bottle, when I first put this on, I was pretty shocked because, like I said, I've had a lot of exposure to this before even really coming across any dupes, but more of a woodiness. So that's exactly something, Jonathan, like he said, is correct. The thing about this one is it carries a little bit more of a wood profile to it that's more dense in a way. So this one was made exceptionally well. Obviously, this perfumer knows what he's doing. It comes off of you and lasts forever, but it's more of a bright lift. Whereas if you get Untold by Armand, you're looking at much more of a dense, sticking to the skin, still has good lift, still has good sillage, but for the most part, it's just an overall rich blast coming off of you. What's your favorite fragrance that's very special to you? Thank you for asking, SR. So my favorite fragrance that's very special to me, I would say there's a couple actually, but if it's special to me, I might actually say right now Baccarat Rouge, and then because my wife wears them, and also the Black Opium by YSL, and then Dolce & Gabbana, not Dolce & Gabbana, Valentino's Green Extravaganza, the women's edition, because that's what my wife wears. That's actually the first one that I ever purchased for her. So as far as ones that are like special to me, and then as well, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue is extremely, extremely special to me because that's the very first fragrance, the original Eau de Toilette, the very first one that I ever personally got in my life. So that makes it very special to me. But I will say that my number one favorite fragrance in the world is starting to shift. But I think it typically does anyway. Prada L'Homme hits differently. Such a head turner. Prada L'Homme is a very good fragrance for what it's worth. What summer fragrance should I use? Well, I'm going to always steer people to Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense, or the new Capri and Love is actually a pretty good choice. Eros Parfum by Versace or Eros Energy, very good choices if you want something that's a little less sweet in the same vein, but you don't want to waste your money on Creed Aventus. You can get Club de Nuit Intense Parfum, pretty good choice. Your shirt looks like a tattoo. That's funny. Well, hey, you know what? Maybe one day I'll just get my whole body done like camo. Who knows? Not actually, but you know. But thank you guys for stopping by, and feel free to continue to ask questions, as well as fantastic summer choice. I prefer the original Le Beau Le Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier, but you are definitely not going to feel very bad at all if you buy the Hadlage Island. So Bleu de Chanel Parfum, best ever created. Bleu de Chanel parfum is a fantastic choice. I recently bought Latafa Kawa, too spicy and boozy. Do you think it needs to macerate? To be honest with you, the Kawa is not really going to shift too much, even if you give it time. So I want to let you guys in on a little something right now. Okay. So you guys get onto fragrance YouTube, you watch fragrance YouTubers, you watch fragrance TikTokers. And of course, you guys who either do your own research or want to learn from people who are talking in front of a camera, a lot of times you guys want to trust the people that you're watching. If you ask questions about fragrances, a lot of this whole maceration thing goes around, right? Let me make this very clear for you. If you study anything about real perfumery, maceration is technically speaking a real concept, and it does happen. It can, in fact, increase the strength and performance and alter the fragrance of profile things. If you leave a fragrance, if I was to leave my Leighton by Parfums de Marly, or if I was to leave my Oud Silk Mood by Maison Francis Kirkjohn in this closet for 5 years, it will have a mild scent composition change because the top notes are going to kind of disappear over time, especially if I leave the cap off. But here's the deal. Fragrances don't really change that much in a very small window of time as far as the actual notes and stuff goes. They just don't. So if anybody's telling you they do, they're lying to you and pretending they know a lot about perfumery when they don't. With that being said, if you don't like that particular aspect of Kawa, I would just suggest to you getting the original Hamra Balatafa because it has a little bit less of what I personally like out of Kawa. Kawa is my favorite. But if you don't like that, then you can definitely go for the original Hamra, and it's a little more relaxed on that. Ducon is absolutely, yeah, what's the best clone dupe for S-Boy? Hold on, I'm trying to keep up with you guys real quick. Now, my rotation, Percival is a different bottle, same performance, if not better. Well, that's really nice. I haven't personally tried that one, but I hope you guys enjoy it. What's the best clone dupe for S-Boy? I'm not sure. I've never tried that, and as usual, if you guys don't know, I don't lie about stuff, so I'm not going to tell you a fragrance that I haven't tried. Narcotic Delight is my favorite. It's amazing. I definitely have to try that if it's the one that you have. I do not have Narcotic Delight, but I'd like to try it. What do you think about strong oud fragrances? I recently tried Herbo Oud. So, to be honest with you, strong oud fragrances are not something I personally wear. There's nothing that I have against them. One of my favorite oud fragrances of all time is Silver Oud by Amouage, but I don't really wear those. The only thing that has an oud quality that I actually personally wear, or at least it's in the name, but it's not really very oudy forward, is Oud Silk Mood, but again, it's not really oud forward. It's just kind of like a very afterthought. And then as well, Oud Mineral by Tom Ford. As far as like real powerful oud fragrances go, though, I always suggest Silver Oud by Amouage if you're looking for that, because it's like the same denseness, but like that mild bit of fecal, but not too bad. I buy a fragrance, I don't just smell it myself. Macerate in a few months. Have you seen Jean of Immortal? I have not. Definitely love a dumb reach fragrance. Well, that's fantastic. Gucci Guilty Elixir, my top one. So thank you guys for coming. If the comments ever get a little too crazy, like I might not be able to see you guys and like answer your questions very much, but I'll try my best. Gucci Guilty Elixir is fantastic, but the reason why I found it a little bit redundant for me personally to have is because Gucci Guilty is mostly the elixir, a very powerful iris fragrance, and this is my favorite iris fragrance of all time, which would be definitely Amouage's Reflection. But as well, I recently been falling deeply back in love with Jean Paul Gaultier's Lemale de Parfum. So, tried Oud Maracuja. I love it, but it's too powerful. So here's the dealio. Hold on real quick. Moral smell over time. It's today at 90% cheaper. Thank you guys for coming through here. Thank you guys for commenting, helping each other out, by the way. Just throwing this out there. But for me personally, I actually like this one. So I know that this is kind of like, again, I'm not always pushing like cheaper fragrances. They're not really my thing too much unless they were very well made. For what it's worth, though, I actually like Azur Oud by French Avenue. I think that French Avenue is one of the best fragrance houses out there doing this kind of thing, and I got to give them some respect where it's due. You might hear me bashing a lot on like TikTok influencers pushing this crap on people, which they do, but for me, there are some companies that are kind of doing pretty good, and Azur Oud is actually a really nice take on the original fragrance. It's not exactly, again, it's not perfect, but I will say that it has monster performance, very strong, but you also got to be a certain type of person to wear this. Azur Oud is worth it. It really is. Have I smelled Chanlo Immortal? I have not. I have not smelled that. I don't know why, but I feel like Ombre Nomad is more of a summer fragrance than winter. And you know what, TikTok UFC fan? I can get down with that. I think that because of its qualities, especially that rosy feel that's in there, It is definitely one of those fragrances you can wear during the summertime, and then again, any fragrance that you like, no matter what time of year it is okay for anybody to wear. It doesn't matter when people kind of push for it to be. I have Oud and Roses, sorry. That's okay. Yeah, this is one that's like 90% similarity. Yeah, so for me, I think Urzu Oud is a very fantastic choice. I don't it's not something that I actually wear. I might get around to it at some point, but what do you think about Zerjoff 22? What do I think about Zerjoff 22? I think that it's my second favorite of the bunch. My personal favorite is 23. When it comes to the Zerjoff Torino line, I really love 23. I have it over here. My least favorite actually is Zerjoff 21, which is funny because a handful of my buddies who comes through these chats actually prefers 21 the most, but 23 is my favorite. But I really do love 22. And I got to tell you guys, these perform extremely well. And I'm glad you brought these up because I forget about these a lot because I just kind of have them sitting in my little space over here. But this is actually a really good summer line. If you're looking for good summer fragrances, most Xerjoffs that are certain species are really perfect for the summer. So if you think about Renaissance, Naxos is honestly, even though it's more sweet, honey, sweet tobacco and honey, it's really perfect for the summer. But Zephyro, More Than Words, obviously 40 Knots is fantastic. Herba Pura, Herba Gold, Luna, Layla, these are all fantastic. Like Xerjoff has an incredible amount of perfect summer fragrances to really go for. And I think that's why I always say Xerjoff is overall my favorite perfume house. But let me see. Take on Ignite Oud is really nice and strong, just like the OG. Well, I'll have to give that consideration of checking it out. By the way, you guys who've been hitting the like button, thank you very much. Again, as a YouTuber, while I also want to make this very clear that my goal is not to just be some YouTube douchebag, but instead to actually get to know you guys and let you remember that I'm not any better than any of you guys just because I'm in front of a camera. I just like talking with you guys and getting to build a community here. It also is extremely helpful to my channel when you guys hit the like button, and it helps me continue to grow this thing and put this stuff out there so I can do more discussions and reviews of more fragrances for y'all. So thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button. I also really appreciate that. If you guys really want to like help support some more, go watch my actual review videos that I have. They're like 5 to 10 minutes long, not the hardest thing in the world. And just leave a comment. I like the way you talk and explain. That means a lot to me, Brian. I really appreciate that. I seriously do. Like, again, you know, there's way too many people out here in the game. There's people I really respect. There's people that might have different takes and different tastes than me, but they're being honest, and that's all I want. Me personally, I watch fragrance YouTubers all the time. Even though I am one, I watch them a lot just to enjoy what other people are talking about and also get inspired myself. And there's just way too many people maybe who are saying things, and I'm like, you guys are just pushing stuff on stuff. I don't personally have Oud and Roses. So that's one of those fragrances that I think I can kind of recommend to people because it's pretty decent. If you guys ever want something that goes very well together, especially depending on who did it, Oud and Rose is like a very fantastic scent profile that almost anywhere you get it from, you're not going to be disappointed because Oud is a definitely hard thing for people to handle. Oud in and of itself is something you're very rarely going to get in like, what is it, Western perfumery. In Eastern perfumery, you're going to start to have it a little bit more strong. But again, I always want to steer people back to Silver Oud by Amouage if you're looking to get yourself into the more harsh oud game. Now, if you want to go straight off the deep end, get Hayat, Hayat by Xerjoff. That's about as cheesy oud as you almost can get and just about near pretty much becoming offensive, even on the dry down. So always looking for new fragrant content creators, and I definitely, well, hey, I really appreciate that. Also, my thoughts on Nazimato, not really my personal style, but not a bad setup for me personally. It's just not for me. There's a lot that's not really my personal taste. I'm trying to build up my collection, but can't buy any niche and don't really want any designer. Okay, so I guess when you say you can't buy any niche, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being honest because that's what we do here. We don't make fun of each other. We're just serious. I'm just asking, is it because of the price range? Because I understand that niche fragrances are definitely really hard to enjoy because of their prices, especially, you know, if it's difficult to find them on a good retailer. It's winter where I'm from. What dupes and okay, so are you if you don't mind me asking, are you down like at the bottom of the equator? Are you down like near Australia or something like that? So what types of dupes cheats do you recommend? Why not try dupes of niches? Yeah, there are some good ones out there like that. But winter where you're from, well, honestly, yeah, I'm always going to steer people towards Jean Paul Gaultier's Lemale Elixir, Lemale Le Parfum. specifically, but especially going for the Rayhan elixir like I showed you earlier. Or again, even though it's not my like absolute first choice, Hawas elixir is not a bad option to go for. What do you say? Crow, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you so much. But yeah, Hawas elixir is actually a really good take, and it's only, I'm pretty sure, about $30, something along those lines. Not bad at all for like supposed to be a Jean Paul Gaultier Lemale elixir. But I will show you this as well. So if you get any of the Latafa Hamras, I personally prefer Kawa with the Q, but any of them are pretty decent. But as well, I saw this suggested not long ago. I don't like hiked up stuff, but just showing you this right here is a Royal Blend by the same company that does Liquid Brune and all that. This is French Avenue, and this actually is the like basically. I don't know why I always say this. I don't know why they made a dupe of an already existing cheaper fragrance that seemed a little funny to me, but that's just my personal opinions. But in comparison, this is basically Latafa Hamra, but it's a little brighter in some aspects, and it lasts. Even though Latafa Hamra is already a pretty fantastic performer, it's actually really not bad. Royal Blend, so a very good take on that, and a very good performer overall. So I recommend it if you're looking for that summertime feel as well. Hodlodge Vanilla Dunes. And let me see here. What do you say is the most best BCIs? To be honest, everyone I know has JPG, like the unknown stuff. Okay, so we'll get back to that in just a second. The most beast projection, see, I was good in the air, but smells not so good up close. Looking for something like that. Something that smells very strong, but not so good up close. That's a little difficult because most of my favorite ones that have like extreme, like really genuinely good projection and not just like people say it does, something that really goes well, kind of amouage. So, I mean, I'm always going to take it back to the interlude. Interlude by Amouage is definitely extremely powerful. To me personally, I love it up close and afar, but this is definitely one of those ones where when I've had this on and actually gave it a shot, like even when I had to go to physical therapy, I was using the Amouage interlude, and it definitely from a distance puts out a smell from the pimento and the incense and everything that people enjoy, especially if you do the black iris, but this is just the original, and I've also got the 53. Is that what it is, 53, 54? Yeah, I've got Amouage Interludes 53. This is one of those ones that like really bleeds off of you. But of course, the closer you get to it, it can be a little too harsh on the smokiness, but it's a pretty nice fragrance. Interlude, aka the Blue Bees, absolutely, it's fantastic. Also, I do not know the company Bujerami, but definitely wouldn't mind trying them out. I need one, bro. I don't have anything I can give away, but so by the way, again, sorry if I missed you guys. Which fragrances will you say for sure buy again? Something that I'll buy again for sure. Always going to be Xerjoff 40 Knots, Naxos. Definitely going to continue to keep Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Parfum, Elixir in my lineup. Sauvage Parfum, definitely going to always keep that. Versace Eros Parfum or the Eau de Parfum, but as well, I've got Versace Eros Flame. I used to have that. I've got another one. And some ones that I'm going to always keep around, definitely Maison Francis Kirkjohn's Oud Silk Mood and then Grand Soir. So there's a handful that I'm always going to keep because I love them, like Tom Ford's Ombre Leather is always going to be one I'm going to have because I absolutely love it. How does Blue Beast, is it a blind buy worthy? I live on the edge. So here's the dealio, Brian. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is something that I could not really recommend to people blind buying because even though you don't have much of a choice, they don't really have these in most stores. And I love this. I love Interlude, but it's like I could never responsibly tell people to just go for it unless you've got the money. Like if you're somebody who's got the money to spare or you're living with your family and you can do it and like it's not really going to hurt you too much, you're going to still be able to pay your bills and eat, then I'd say go for it. But definitely this is very risky because I love Interlude, but it's not for everybody, and that's just the truth. So always going to keep it real with you guys. Does Hawas Elixir project? Hold on, wait a second. What are you doing?
Hi.
Oh, well. I think my wife is actually going to join me for once. Would you like to come in and say hey to everybody?
I'm here.
Are you coming in to actually join the video, or are you just popping?
Yes.
Okay, well.
You want to give me an intro? Little drum roll.
Okay. Well, here comes my wife. Hello, everybody. Yay.
Hi.
Whee! All right.
It's me.
But we're not, just remember, I don't know if you guys, my voice is deeper, so it just kind of stays a little lower, but I don't know if you guys can y'all hear her over my microphone, or does she need to put her on? I don't know. If we can probably pass it back and forth if we need to, but Again, my wife just wanted to join the stream for a while. I'm not going to be doing this a whole lot longer anyways, but she had to get ready. What's her favorite fragrance from your collection? Oh, that's already a bad question because I literally tried to have her.
He shoves 5 in my nose as soon as I wake up every morning. So I love the snuggle smell.
So they don't know what that means.
Yeah, I
so
know.
I'm going to try to explain to you guys what. So this is what my wife calls the snuggle smell. So if you can see, this is YSL. I think this is just the eau de parfum. I can't remember if this is eau de parfum or yeah, it is. So this is the YSL eau de parfum, and
it smells so good right before bed.
This is my wife's snuggle smell. By the way,
very
just so you know, because you haven't really done this with me before, while I do this, because I try to respectfully keep up with people, you are more than welcome to talk about whatever you would like to talk about. No, you can get back over here. You're more than welcome to talk about what you about. But I am going to have to cut in all the time because of answering people are just trying to keep. Best vanillas out there. Hot Lodge Vanilla Dunes, Liquid Brune. Let's see. Yeah, that's her absolute favorite. Also, but like #1 vanilla fragrance in the world right now is definitely Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana. But yeah, so my wife loves YSL EDP. Let's see what else we got here. Does she like your niche fragrances? By the way, just letting you guys know, I'm glad that she's here now, and glad that she's going to be able to answer you guys' questions, but you're going to have to make sure you go nice and easy on the comments because they're going to come through fast and it might be a little hard.
I'm also a really slow talker.
She is a very slow talker.
I love Amouage Reflection as well. That's one of my favorites. And sometimes I use it too with the opium, the black opium. That mix is really nice.
And by the way, yes, I am. F. Torres said, no wonder you're always in such a good mood. You're married to such a beautiful woman. Yes, she is. She's my best friend. So Amouage Reflection, man, is a little too simple since I heard it's like Lemale. So here's the dealio. It is like Lemale, Le Parfum, but it's also extremely powerful. It's a different take on it. It's a much more richer iris, whereas Lemale is a lot more relaxed. And they're not, to be honest, personally, they're not redundant to have in your collection if you want to have both. But Reflection, yes, she does, Tahir. He said you got good taste. So Reflection is definitely one of her absolute favorites. But to get to
it stays on a really long time too.
But just to answer somebody else real quick earlier, definitely if you want one of the best vanilla fragrances in the world, this is Giardini di Toscana. I think it smells like when we go to the beach and it has the like ice cream waffle cones being made.
Yeah.
But definitely one of my absolute favorite vanillas. And I guess I'm gonna put some stuff away just real quick so we can kind of really answer everybody because I know you guys might have questions and they're hard to keep up with sometimes. Top 5. Are you talking about me or her? Is Liquid Brune or smooth vanilla? It's more of a bold, dense vanilla, to be honest. Hot Lodge's Vanilla Dunes is a little bit more on the smooth end of that take, but yeah, definitely a little bit tough. But your girlfriend likes cheapies and niche, never really got love besides Naxos. That's funny. My wife does love Naxos. Fragrance Reflection, but not too simple. Best long-lasting fragrance you would suggest? I'm going to go back to actually either Xerjoff Naxos or
that one lasts all day.
It does last all day, but when it comes down to long-lasting fragrances, not all of them are as long-lasting as people would like. But also Grand Soir by Maison Francis Kirkjohn.
And the Baccarat Rouge for women. That one lasts.
Well, that's not for women. So she doesn't know this because my wife just comes my wife comes and steals this out of the closet all the time, but she doesn't know this is just for anybody. Basically everything over here is either for men or unisex, but Baccarat Rouge Extract Parfum is what she wears a lot. Please say the names again. I can't go back. Okay, we'll try to do this real quick. Have you tried Road? I have not tried that, Khalid, but thank you for being here. Thank you for asking. So as far as, I'll just do this real quick. So I'll take you guys kind of through my own top 5 or what have you, and then we'll also try to go through whatever she can come up with, but she don't know. See, just being honest, her mind's always jumbled about this, so I keep asking her.
I have a top 5 of mine.
Well, she has a top 5 of her own personal favorites.
My top 5 out of my 6 that I have.
But I've been wanting to know like what her favorite fragrances of my personal own collection is, and she just can't seem to tell me because there's too many to pick.
First of all, yeah, I tried to go, okay, you see how they're in tiers, right? I was like, I can't just pick my top 5 out of 500 fragrances or how many you have. So I just went through the bottom rack right here and I listed them out. Finally, I was very organized about it. So proud of myself. And then he didn't even take a picture to remember. So there was that.
Yeah, there was that. Why did you do that? Why did you have to come grab it and move the thing? It's so hard to sit it back the way it's supposed to be. She is a meddler. She's got to touch everything. Naxos is the best one for the first niche. I think so. I think if anybody's going to go through their very first ever fragrance that's more a bit on the higher price end, and they're looking for something that like isn't going to be offensive to pretty much anybody. Although I will say that's not Nexus, that's Renaissance. I will say when I very first got a bottle of Nexus, me and her both were a little bit off put by it because at that point we hadn't smelled anything like it before, and she thought this smelled like an old person smell.
That's true. I love it now, though.
Yeah, she loves it
I
now.
like it on you.
It's one of my favorites in the whole world. But like I said, asking her what her favorite fragrance is just like pulling teeth, unless it's her own fragrances. But Lemale Elixir,
that's definitely one.
this used to be also both of our favorite in the whole entire world.
I think this is number 2 for me.
Number 2?
Yeah, something beat it.
I couldn't remember what it is, but I will say recently I've been kind of getting pulled back towards, is Renaissance close to Torino 21? Not really. To be honest with you. Hold on, wait. Say the name of vanillas again. Okay, I will go through that one more time. So I'm going to say Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana. I don't know if you can see it on here, but this is one of the absolute best possible vanilla fragrances in the world. It's $150, I believe, maybe $132 depending on where you get it. Hot Lodge Island Vanilla Dunes, if you can see that. It's KH. Oh, there she goes. There's another reason why she never does the fragrance streams with me, because for some reason everything makes her sneeze 1,000 times. But KHADLAJ. This is Hot Lodge Vanilla Dunes. Just look up Vanilla Dunes. Absolutely fantastic vanilla fragrance. But at the end of the day,
also, this Dolce & Gabbana is really good.
Yeah, that's Dolce & Gabbana Devotion. It's like a vanilla coffee fragrance, and I really love it. She doesn't wear it much, but I really do love that one.
I'm not
the camera quality is bad. Well, I'm sorry. It's probably because she picked it up and was jerking the phone all over the place. But no, hopefully, can you guys let me know if you can see anything? Camera quality is like Samsung. Okay, that's Esba. Esba is how you feel, but can anybody else let me know if you can actually see anything right now? Ren has intense, but it's done smooth and 21 freshy. It's good now. Thank you, Khalid, for letting me know. Yeah, unfortunately, every now and then these things go in and out and that's why we always have to leave the phone alone, because the phone is definitely not the best one that I've got. Do you have Kayali? I do not. Thank you for asking though. Again, as I always try to say, I'm never going to personally review fragrances that I don't actually have, because again, that's not fair to you guys. I'm sick of people lying to people about fragrances being awesome so they spend their money. I'm not going to be that person. And thank you, Redbeard, for being back. So
Yay!
I never did say, so you need to sit here for a minute and think about if you can try what some of your favorite fragrances are. Don't say them out loud. Just think about them until you actually can say them out loud. I'm going to go through mine though. Do you have YSL? We have YSL Y EDP, and that's actually literally earlier when she first came in, she said it's her snuggle smell. I'll move this out of the way real fast so you can really look at those.
I need to see.
But Jean Paul Gaultier's Lemale Elixir and Lemale Parfum are creeping their way back up to being some of my favorite fragrances of all time, as well as Oud Silk Mood by Maison Francis Kirkjohn, Nexus by Xerjoff, and it's really tough to actually like Reflections by Amouage, favorites of all time. It is really difficult to like really narrow it in. I see you have Alexandria. I sure do. I got the YSL Le Parfum. Is it any good? Do you like it? I love Jean Paul Gaultier. I do too. Jean Paul Gaultier is one of my favorite fragrance companies in the entire game. And also, again, as somebody who does like to look at fashion from time to time, they make a pretty good work over there. Alexandria. Oh, what are you doing? This is another reason we never let her come in here.
Oh my God!
Let me make this clear. My wife needs glasses, but she refuses to put them on. So
this is just a roast. I didn't sign up for this.
Coming around glass and gentle things that can be destroyed, you might as well put her in a
gentle thing that could be destroyed.
Yeah, put her in a room with mirrors and a baseball bat and tell her to start swinging. Basically, is what you can do. But I love you. But it's great. A little greener than the rest. I'm a big fan of Xerjoff, not gonna lie. I am too. I will say though, have you tried Paranormal? I have not, Khalid, but I live in the Middle East, so I don't wear it much. So again, to any of you guys who live in the Middle East or anybody who lives in India, anywhere like that around the world, please don't mind suggesting to me fragrances, because it's really difficult to know a lot of stuff that's out there when I don't live in those kind of regions. Also, Monkey Special was a cologne I never understood why people like it. I'm not the biggest fan of Monkey Special, but I will say it's not a bad fragrance. It's just not necessarily my personal taste, although my daughter really loved wearing it. I personally love Baccarat Rouge. So my wife, again, we've got Baccarat Rouge Extrait de Parfum. She likes to wear it. I don't wear it only because when I first got it, I had other stuff I was wearing at the time. She started wearing it personally, and now it just kind of became something that I identified with her. But definitely want to know what your, of all these fragrances, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to try everything. Just
I'm working on it.
which ones really speak to you.
I do really love this one.
Which one? The Vanilla Dunes?
Yeah.
I don't remember how much you like this one.
Does this last a long time?
It does, yeah.
Okay. This is really good.
How about this? Bleu de Chanel. We're going to see if this is one of her absolute favorites. What do you think about Boss Bottled Elixir? I think Boss Bottled Elixir is actually fantastic. That's one that I will recommend to people for the summertime, even though it's more of a little bit of a fall fragrance. I wish my wife would enjoy fragrances. Is that God of Fire? Clone in the blue bottle. It is Vulcan Few. We'll talk about that for just a second. Well, if you don't like, so here, whenever you don't,
this one?
Okay, no, listen. So just like Redbeard here says, I want to explode this house if things are not where they're supposed to be. So please, if you don't want something to be in your top 10, just tell me and I'll put it back where it goes.
Yeah,
I'm a
that
very,
one's really good. I would say it's very mass appealing, but I don't personally love it for you as my top 5.
so we're only going to keep things in the top 5 if they really belong there. But just to answer you real quick, Vulcan Few, this is the new one, and it's the God of Fire dupe. But to be honest with you guys, neither of them are exactly fantastic. They're good fragrances, just not the best performers. Especially, like I keep saying, this one's been super hyped up all over the world, and it's just not that great as far as longevity and like sillage and stuff. But the Dolce & Gabbana is the best. I have it. I love Dolce & Gabbana. I see that Club de Nuit. What are your thoughts on it? Bought it 5 years ago. So here's the dealio. I absolutely despised originally when I first came across Club de Nuit. I absolutely could not stand it, but I've got the Parfum now, and I've actually come to like it, to be honest with you. I like Dior Elixir. Me too, kitchen sink. Let's see. That actually used to be one of my wife's favorites as well. What clone do you think is the closest to the original? So I keep saying this. Liquid Broom by who is it? French Avenue or Hyde Lodge's Island. Those two together are variations of the same coin, but they are like the absolute. If you want like the best take, that's probably one of the best you're going to get as a clone in the clone world. Thank you, absolutely, buddy. Thank you for being here. Do you have Davidoff Cool Water? I don't anymore. I actually gave it away. Davidoff Cool Water, and I had Davidoff Cool Water Intense. They're great fragrances. They were some of the first ones I had as like a young person, a teenager, what have you. But I don't have them anymore, but they are pretty good choices. What are your thoughts on Bond Number 9? Don't really care too much for the whole Bond Number 9 fragrance house, but I think they're well made. They're just not my style. What do you think about Supremacy Collector's Edition? Thank you for asking. I'd love to talk about that for just a second. I got it right here. What do you think about this? Hold on, wait. It has the similar Creed Aventus DNA, but with apple added on top because it's supposed to be like Creed Aventus Absolute.
It's earthy.
It's earthy. It's sweet. I think it's got actually pretty decent performance. I think it's got pretty okay overall, like longevity and so forth. It's not like amazing. I think that I would probably give this maybe like a 7 out of 10. That's just me personally. It's decent. It's not that great, but it's decent. Didn't really like the Creed DNA, but now I'm getting better. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm starting to kind of enjoy it a little bit more.
I would agree with that, by the way. 7.
7 out of 10. Yeah, Supremacy Collector's Edition. I'd say probably a 7 out of 10. Let me see if I can keep up here. What do you think about Creed Milsman? I actually like Milsman Imperial. Creed's Milsman Imperial is a pretty good fragrance. There is obviously by Armaf. They've got their own take on it. I haven't bought it yet, but I'd like to give it a shot. But I think it's pretty nice. I wish my wife would say, she just says a spray too much. What about it? That's funny, Redbeard. Well, hopefully maybe one day she'll come around. I do not have any Michael Malone fragrances kitchen sink, but thank you for, again, asking and being here. I haven't actually smelled any of them before. I wanted to get a bottle at one point of the Ocean, but I didn't get around to it. Maybe one day. So Initio, I like Initio Side Effect, and I like Initio Paragon. Oud for Greatness and Oud for Greatness Neo. Just throwing this out there. Again, not trying to be controversial. I'm just telling you guys the truth. I think they're a little bit on the overrated side. What do you think about 1 Million Lucky? I think 1 Million Lucky is nice, but the little youngster inside of me prefers 1 Million Elixir. And Versace Hawass. Versace Hawass is okay. For like a very young person, I would recommend it as a pretty decent little plummy type of bubblegum fragrance, but I personally don't care for it too much. Again, though, I don't want you guys to like be bothered by my personal opinions. It's okay if you guys don't agree with me. That's perfectly fine. I'm just going to tell you guys how I feel. Bad Boy Cobalt is pretty decent. Have you tried anything by Wilhelm Perfumes? I have not. Lattafa Fakar. Lattafa Fakar is pretty decent. I got that as well. It's I know it's supposed to be like YSL. I've got all the Baccarat editions, and I think the gold one, I don't remember what the name is for it, but it's probably my favorite. I know this is supposed to be like a YSL take, but personally, it actually reminds me just a teeny bit of Percival by Parfums de Marly. Yeah, her side effect was worth it, but about Narcotic Delight. Narcotic Delight is actually pretty decent, but I think that personally I prefer the side effect. I love Oud Satin Mood, but my favorite of the bunch is this one right here, Oud Silk Mood. This is my absolute favorite of them. That's one of my favorite fragrances in the entire world. But that's just me personally. These are not necessarily her style. What's your favorite summer freshie with good performance? Summer freshie with good performance, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense, and then Eros Energy or Eros Parfum. Fantastic. Let's see here. My girl likes, I think this is her, nothing else. I couldn't get her another fragrance. Yeah, interesting. I haven't heard of that. Roja Amber Oud, haven't tried it, so I'm not going to comment, but I bet it's nice. Carolina Herrera fragrance. I don't have a favorite, to be honest with you. They're not my style, so get the likes up, guys. Yeah, if anybody enjoys watching these videos, if you guys are enjoying having this time with us, if you want to ask me or my wife any questions, just please hit that like button. It helps the channel grow, like Redbeard said. I really would appreciate it. I love Amoureuse Reflection. Me too. Again, that's one of my wife's absolute favorite fragrances. Remember, by the way, Amoureuse Reflection. Well, I guess that's more of a you fragrance, huh? Not really me.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So she's not going to put it. She has claimed it. Just wanted. It's pretty nice. First of all, my two favorite. That's awesome. Wearing JPG Elixir right now. Fantastic. I love JPG Elixir. Invincible boy. Difference between Oud Satin and Oud Silk Mood. Mold. So the difference between Oud Satin and Oud Silk Mood. Oud Satin, like the names literally kind of represent the fragrance profile. Oud Satin is kind of like a little bit more of a oudy cinnamon, cardamom type of fragrance in a way, whereas Oud Silk Mood is more of a medicinal rose oudy fragrance, and it's much more my style. But they're both fantastic. Freshie with good performance has to be Vibrato. Fantastic choice. Latafa, I love Latafa Hamra. I love Latafa Eternal Oud, a fantastic Latafa fragrance. There's a handful of them, but to be honest with you, I guess I'm going to stick with Hamrakawa as like my number one. Latafa fragrance, the Ocean Noir over Citizen Jackson to match. Hey, well, thank you for letting me know that. Between two summer fragrances, Louis Vuitton Imagination and Club de Nuit. Well, okay, so this is probably going to be something people are not going to like, but I'm going to go with Club de Nuit. Imagination is a nice fragrance, but Louis Vuitton is way too, Louis Vuitton fragrance is way too overrated, too expensive. Best summer wear under $30 US. Under $30 US, that's a little bit more difficult. No, that's not even under $30 US. Instead, depending on where you get it from. I guess I'm going to steer you towards, if it's under $30, Davidoff Cool Waters, Intense, depending on where you get it from. But that's just my personal opinion. But if you can just go up just a little bit more in price, I would say probably Hodlodge Island is going to be a good choice.
How much is this one?
That is $80. It's supposed to be like Lemale, or excuse me, Sauvage Elixir.
It's really nice. This is just a good daily.
Suspiria Vibrato. If any of y'all have it, it's a blind buy worthy. I don't personally have it, but I'd like to try it someday. What's your thought about JPG La Bola Parfum? It's one of my favorites of all time, and I have it up here, and that's what Hodlodge Island is based around. So this one that you picked is just supposed to be this.
Okay.
So, but yeah, let's see here. Sorry if I can't keep up with you guys, but I appreciate you guys commenting. 100% blind buy worthy. Perfume Spot has Hawass for $19. Thank you for letting us know that. Rayhan Crimson, definitely not worth it. Sorry, Billy Goat, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there, be completely honest with you guys. I think Rayhan Crimson it sucks. That's just my personal opinion. It's a very cheap cinnamon gum flavored fragrance, basically, and it's just not something I like. It got super hyped up on TikTok, but I'm not going to lie to you guys, so no.
I love both of these.
You do?
Yeah.
Well,
so if this is a dupe, this is definitely worth it.
It is very worth it. So you heard it here first. Hodlodge Island's a really good choice.
Yeah, this was my top two, but now I'm confused because I love this one as well.
Well, I think personally, because you're just making a fully true list, I think you should probably stick with the original. I mean, that's just my opinion. You do what you want, but that is the original that you really love. I was buying expensive perfume for you, which is best. Xerjoff Naxos. Do you have red tobacco? Thank you for being here, guys. I've got red tobacco intense. It's a really good flavor fragrance. Bro, I have 10 fragrances, and most compliments like Versace Eros, Dior Sauvage. Like how, just to be completely honest with you guys, Dior Sauvage is one of the best classics of all time. And Versace Eros, especially the EDP or the Parfum, like no matter what niches you get, you're not going to beat going out in public wearing fragrances like that. It's just the truth. But
Yeah,
man,
Versace Eros was in my top 5 until oh no, I got squeezed out a little bit.
you got squeezed out a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
squeezed it out.
What
So
I've been saying about niche, about any good cheapies. Hello, hello, Maddie. Thank you for being here. What do you think about Lemale Elixir? So, to anybody who's new here, I absolutely love it. Yeah, she does get it. She gets it. But yeah, I absolutely love Lemale Elixir, one of my favorites. But so you don't think this is in your top 5?
No.
She's almost done making her top 5 fragrances for me personally. Valentino, is Valentino Born in Aroma Intense worth it? I think it's pretty decent. I think it's a good enough fragrance. It's just not my personal favorite, but I do think it's pretty nice. So, are you finished making of all the
There's
fragrances?
one I didn't get to find, which is that there was a green one that you had.
A green one?
Yes, before we moved, I said I really love the smell. I'm pretty sure it's 2 words. It's like something and something.
Something and something.
Mm.
I don't know anything about what. I have no idea.
Okay, it's lost forever. It's probably on the top shelf where I can't see.
No, because there's no like again other than Versace Eros. There's no like Dolce and Gabbana is the only thing, but this isn't green. Well, I really don't know. So,
well, it's lost now forever.
Okay. Well, anyways, at the end of the day, so are you
Say
sure?
these are my top 5.
Of all the fragrances here, these are your top 5, and you smelled everything. You went
No, I
through.
didn't smell everything. I know the Sauvage Elixir.
Hold on, real quick. Let's see what we got here. Probably Naxos, definitely best cologne for daily wear. Definitely, well, for daily wear, Naxos, Xerjoff 40 knots, something along those lines. Can you give us your top 5? I sure will. What fragrances do you think is overhyped? Vulcan Fume, overhyped. Let's see. That's a tough one. Honestly, most Creed Aventus dupes are overhyped. I think Oud for Greatness personally is a little bit overhyped, but that's just my personal thoughts. Can you give us your top 5? I will do that. Best cologne daily. What's your best fragrances for the morning? For the morning, I actually really like Sauvage Parfum. What's your opinion about PDM Sedley? I think it's pretty decent. PDM Sedley, PDM Greenlee, they're pretty decent fragrances, but it's more like Sedley's like a very nice, luxurious Sprite. Not really the best in the world, but it's pretty good. Not the best performance. In love with JPG Lemale Parfum. Me too. I love it. Dior Elixir or Blue de Chanel. Ooh. I'm going to go with Dior Elixir, but Blue de Chanel is fantastic. So you smell this? That's not in your top 5?
No.
All right, let's check. I just want to check if.
The Elixir?
No, that's
I
not
like
the Elixir.
more than the regular perfume.
Oh, but I do want to make sure.
The Elixir is my favorite of the Sauvage.
Wow, this one didn't make it to your top 5.
No.
And oh my goodness. Well, hold on. Okay, so I'm glad. By the way, if you see me guys being pushy, it's just because I wore Mancera Oud Blue Notes today to work. Keep getting whiffs. Now it lasts a good time. So the Oud Blue Notes does last very well. Although then again, I did just realize that you get a little sweaty. I'm surprised Eros isn't in your top 5.
I do. I love this about. I mean, if it is top 10, you know.
So these are your
Elixir and
number 1 top 5 that you're going with.
I think I like these slightly more. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is subject to change.
This
is subject to change, but we're going to go ahead right here, right now, and say my wife's absolute top 5 favorite fragrances as it stands right now. So the heat and floor is very quick. What do you guys do for a living? We will say that in just a second. So just to go through this is your number 1?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, though, because I did want to find out for sure last night. So hold on. Let's do a comparison real quick, because that one I didn't realize has a lot of an iris feel to it, but we're going to do Lemale Elixir versus Lemale Parfum real fast. So let me let it air out just for a second here. So this is Lemale Parfum, it's iris, and then here's the Elixir.
Oh, they smell very close.
They're very close, but one of them's a little bit more honey and tobacco, and the other one's more focused around the lavender and iris.
I think I like this one more.
You think you like this one? That's this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, dang.
Let's switch them out.
Okay.
All right, everybody. If you're ready, we're going to do her actual top 10 favorite oud fragrance. Oud Silk Mood, although that's not necessarily oud fragrance, so I'm going to say instead probably Silver Oud, if it's a real oud fragrance. Have you had any Mercedes-Benz? I have not, but I've heard they're pretty decent performers, ironically. Do y'all have the Tom Ford? I've got loads of Tom Fords over here, and Tom Ford Ombre Leather is one of my favorite fragrances of all time.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Very fantastic. Also, Tobacco Vanille, Lost Cherry, fantastic. But so now we're gonna do my wife's top. I want to let you stand in front of the camera, but my wife's top 5 favorites is basically going to be. So, well, let me make sure. You really, I didn't mean to sway you on that one. That's the Lemale Le Parfum, and then the honey smell, Lemale Elixir.
Oh no. Now that it's dried down a little bit, I like that on my.
Okay, I didn't want to sway you out. Okay,
Well, it
so
smells good.
my wife's favorite fragrances here that I got going on is Jean Paul Gaultier's Lemale Elixir, Le Beau Le Parfum by Jean Paul Gaultier, Xerjoff's Torino 22, Vanilla Dunes by Hodge Lodge. So Vanilla Dunes Island. And then my wife loves Initio Side Effect. And my wife seems so kind. Have you ever heard of the brand? I have not, but thank you for suggesting that, Brian. Again, anybody, real quick before I say what I'm about to say, anybody who stops through here, you're more than welcome to ask any questions you would like to. Let's talk about the fragrances while we're still doing this for a little bit longer. We're not going to go too much longer, because we got other stuff we're going to do today.
We're going to get some coffee.
We're going to get some coffee, have a nice time, enjoy our time together, because my wife took this beautiful time off so we can have our wonderful day. But she's extremely kind. This is my best friend in the whole entire world. I'm glad that she actually got to, oops, sorry guys. I'm glad that she actually got to join the stream this time, because I love my wife with all my heart. And I really wouldn't be here today. This is my best blessing that God's ever given me. So I'm thankful to have this time. What fragrance are you wearing for this wonderful day? Father, thank you for asking. Okay, your most rarest fragrance. I'll get to that in just a second, Oscar.
Ooh.
But my fragrance that I'm wearing today, I'm honestly probably going to go with Lemale Elixir. I really want to go with Lemale Elixir because it's what she said is her favorite fragrance. It's funny that this ended up being her favorite fragrance, because this was still her favorite fragrance long before we knew this collection that you see. This collection you see here, all these fragrances I have, my wife still loved Lemale Elixir back then as the #1. But my rarest fragrance, I don't really know how to say that by rare, because like it's
like
the
rarest used, like you
rarest, or do you mean rarest to come by? Because as far as rarest to come by, that's also still a really difficult one to choose. But I don't know, because a lot of these fragrances definitely are ones that anybody can pretty much buy at any time. But I would say probably most expensive might be Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait de Parfum. Jo Malone English Pear. Ooh, so Jo Malones do not last very long, but they are fantastic fragrances. And English Pear is a delicious fragrance, but I do love the Cypress and Grapevine.
That's the one. Oh my gosh, that's the freaking one that I love. Yeah, with the and in it.
Yeah, Cypress and Grapevine by Jo Malone. This is one of the first.
I love this one.
That's one of the first ones that I ever bought, because
first of all, that's a 10.
First of all, Tom Hardy, fantastic dude. But I love, before you leave, can you give me a note breakdown on Xerjoff 23? I sure can. And it's refreshing to see. Well, thank you, Sherry, for being here. I really appreciate you, because I love my wife with all my heart, and I just love getting to have this time. And I'm also going to do some like little old man talk here in just a second. But before we get around to doing that, I will look up real quick, because I don't remember what the notes are for that. So Torino. You said Torino 23 is what you want a notes breakdown? We'll do that in just a second. But I'll answer you guys while this is loading. Jo Malone win last time 6 to 8 on skin. Yeah, they're not bad. They're not like they don't last at all. It's just not the strongest lasting in the universe is the best way I can put it. That's your number. Really?
Yeah, I love that one. I was trying to find it.
Thoughts on Jimmy Choo? I think Jimmy Choo's pretty decent. They're not my favorite fragrances. They're a little bit more on the cheaper profile end, but not my favorite. How would you guys compare Dunes and Liquid Broom? So my wife actually, we did that the other day, and she personally prefers Vanilla Dunes over Liquid Broom. I don't really know exactly what it is you said again, why you liked it more.
This one has a little bit more of a caramel note. It's I think a little bit more cozy, while the other one is a little bit more woodsy smelling, but I'm also not remembering perfectly.
Here you go. I'll let you, real quick, while I answer a few more comments, I'll let you compare those two. Vanilla Dunes or Liquid Broom. But the other day she went with Vanilla Late and All Day. That's a really nice choice.
No, this one's too sweet. That's why.
That's what it is. It's too sweet.
Yeah.
So Vera Wang, I've never had Vera Wang before, but I have heard of them before. Would you guys compare it? But yeah, she definitely prefers Vanilla Dunes a lot more. Leighton is a fantastic choice. Y'all have the best perfumes. Thank you, S. Bob. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I agree. Not insane for Jo Malone, but I really like it. Yeah, it's fantastic. To answer my buddy real quick about Torino 23, it says the notes are rose, bergamot, nutmeg, rose, cardamom, neroli, tuberose, jasmine, and lang lang, with musk, cashmere wood, patchouli, and cedar wood. I never really read the notes before. I just actually kind of, even though I'm always against blind buying, that's pretty much what I did. But
this one's definitely that musky,
yeah,
spice heavy.
But this is my personal favorite of the Torino, the 23. I haven't smelled 24 yet, but Torino 23 is definitely my favorite of the entire bunch.
Smells very similar to like a store that has incense in it, honestly.
What would you say is a truly unisex fragrance that leans feminine? Probably Reflections by Amouage, to be honest with you. It's supposed to be a men's fragrance, technically speaking, but it kind of falls.
I love it.
She does. And she usually blends it with Black Opium by YSL.
Yeah, to give it that marshmallow type of scent to it. It's a little bit more feminine leaning, but this could really be used for anybody.
It could be.
If you don't mix it.
So I'm going to throw this out there. Reflections, one of my favorite fragrances of all time, but definitely my wife wears it more. By the way, to answer your question, I do not have Coconut Lagoon, but thank you for suggesting. What's my least favorite fragrances? I'll definitely answer that in a second.
Oh
but I think, to be honest with you guys, if you want Reflections, but you want it with a little bit more of a masculine feel, boom, Lemale Le Parfum, because it is that iris feel, but it's similar. Yeah, it's very, very much spot on to Reflections, except it's got a little bit more of the lavender, gives it a little bit more of a masculine feel. So I think Reflection definitely goes well. Look at her about to sneeze. I did. But she typically likes to blend Reflections with Black Opium by YSL. My least favorite fragrance?
I'll tell you mine.
What's that?
That oud one.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, why?
So yeah, my wife, she already knows exactly what her least favorite.
I love Zerdoff, but I don't know why they did this.
They did this for people who really want a true to the core oud fragrance. If you think you've got what it takes,
if you want to not breathe in a room,
if you want to have the most, like, people are going to hate you unless you live in the Middle East and this is a scent profile you grew up with, and that's okay. Here's the deal. I actually like this, and that's just because my nose kind of just, I don't know, something draws it to me. But my wife right here,
I'm not used to it yet.
Absolutely hates this. Kitchen sink, how many pumps? I don't know what you mean by that, like how many sprays. And the new glitter one. Yeah, so that's exactly what she's got right here, Sherry. My wife has if you're talking about the YSL Black Opium, she loves this one. So how many sprays? If you're talking about this one, I swear to you, 2 to 3. Now she says absolutely none, but Hayat.
Let's go for a half.
Hayat by Zerjoff. If you're looking for an absolute stupid level, like in your face, oud fragrance. Yeah. So again, if you're looking for something way more chill, let's do a live reaction right now of this real fast, and then we'll come back to the Black Opium. If you're looking for something that's a real oud fragrance, but it's a lot more chill, keeping in mind that, smell that.
This one's tolerable, but I still don't like it.
Yeah, Silver Oud by Amouage, if you want a little bit more of a relaxed, less abrasive oud fragrance. Or, I will say this is where it takes it to the least abrasive, but still keeping it true to the oud, and that's Jubilation.
Yeah, this one's good.
You like that?
This one.
So this one's a little bit
very summery too.
That one's summery and creeping into that more floral oud type of profile. Here's the dealio. If you want an oud fragrance that you can wear around people, so I love oud, but only when it's blended with the right things. I love what it does in a fragrance. I don't like it as the prominent note. So that's why Silver Oud's not really for me. That's why this one's definitely not something I would wear anywhere. But if you want the
can you imagine gifting it to somebody?
I might do that as a joke one day. But if you want something that's a little bit more like oud, but still going to be more wearable, it blends exceptionally well with florals and things like that. Rubbing around like wood sage, do on the wrist and pat it down. I personally never recommend to anybody rubbing their wrist when you spray on a fragrance, because it just doesn't destroy the fragrance, but it does break apart the opening parts and just takes it straight to the centerpieces and kind of overheats it and wears it out way faster. But anyway, with that being said,
back to the opium though. I know that there's 3 different kinds of the opium, and I loved all 3. And this one, initially, I actually didn't love the most of the 3, but the sweetness and
you know what?
It does kind of remind me of like the raspberry as well, like marshmallow raspberry mixed with some more natural notes, so it's not hyper sweet.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this somewhere.
Oh, why? I feel like I'm yelling.
Well, that way you can be a little more, but also because when I'm squatting down and doing stuff, let me know if you guys can hear her pretty okay if she talks like this. Angel Share, out the window completely. Lemale Elixir all day long. Angel Share is just very, very okay. But yeah, let her know if you guys can hear her well with her microphone on. So say some stuff. You go ahead while I put some stuff up.
Well, this one's sweet, but also not very young. It lasts a very long time. And if I'm wearing like a girly, romantic type of outfit, this is usually what I go for. And if I want to dress a little bit more, so I match my attire with my perfumes a lot. I'm very, I attach scents to different colors often. So if I'm wearing green, I usually do my extravaganza mixed with
Green extravaganza
green extravaganza, yeah,
by
mixed with
Valentino.
Versace Eras.
The Parfum edition, by the way. So the Parfum by Versace Eras. So I'm only saying these things not to correct her and be rude or anything, but because she doesn't really talk about this stuff very much, but I'm letting her have, like, I'm glad she gets to be a part of this. I just want to
Yeah,
make
you're
sure
like
you
the
guys
scientist,
know.
and I'm just the
I just want to make sure that you guys know that. But
I'm the janitor.
do you even pair it or wear it? Do you ever pair it or wear it alone? So if you're talking about the Eros and the Green Extravaganza, she puts those two together.
Yeah, I actually always pair those. I love the Versace Eros by itself, but the Green Extravaganza for me is a little bit too sweet for my personality. But it still smells really great. I mean, it is my first fragrance, so
Absolutely.
I obviously loved it. But I've learned that a lot of people also really love it. So for me to wear that one alone, it would make me feel a little bit more common.
Real quick, I'm going to answer it. So I do not know Charuto Tobacco Vanille, but I'd like to check that out. And thank you for suggesting. And again, you guys, so I'm going to say this because I haven't said it a lot because we've just been having a good time talking. But again, I'm a YouTuber. I do fragrances and stuff. Scoot, just a second. As you can see, I do fragrances and stuff. But again, this isn't just about that. It's also about talking about life, whatever you guys ever want to talk about, because I cannot stress enough that my whole channel is about building a genuine fragrance community where we all become buddies, where we actually get to know each other. And I'm not just some YouTube guy who talks, but I'm also like, I want to make a community where we can be honest with each other. Because if you haven't ever watched me before, I complain a lot about the fact that there's too many TikTokers and YouTubers out there whose whole spiel, don't do that, people are probably rubbing all over the microphone. But there's way too many YouTubers and TikTokers out there who just bullcrap you guys about fragrances because they're getting paid for them. Nobody's paying me a dime for any of these fragrances. So when I tell you something's worth it or it's not, that is my opinion. But I am going to be real with you guys. And if something's hyped up, but I think it sucks, I'm going to let you guys know. And just as a quick example, Shazam smells really nice, doesn't perform even a fraction of what people say it does. With that being said,
Oh my gosh, I do love this one. This is very tropical.
It is very tropical.
Resort vacation.
What is a budget friendly? You can see myself reading up. Definitely the Sauvage line, the Versace Eros line, Hod Lodge and all that stuff. Hod Lodge Island, Vanilla Dunes. Those are definitely ones I'm going to keep up in my thing.
I also wanted to say, Redbeard, I saw your comment and I love the Green Extravaganza for men. I don't know if you even have that one, but I like that one a lot.
I don't have that one personally, but Sam does, and it is good. And Coral Fantasy is one of the best ones.
That one is really good, yeah.
I want to gift the perfume to a girl I'm dating, but not sure which one to get her. I was thinking Gucci Flora. Any suggestions for the summer? Ooh, so this one's really nice. Blue Jasmine.
This one's good, but it's definitely a certain type of person. I honestly never wear this one.
Sebastian Creed Himalaya is not really my style. I'm not a big Creed person in general, but some Imperial or something like that's more my speed.
I would
no, I don't. Hold on, real quick, Huggy. No, I don't have Mercedes Club Black. What is it? The blue one you just showed. So real fast, that is Dolce & Gabbana's Blue Jasmine. But I'll let you tell like what you think is good ones to offer.
This one's really strong and it lasts all day. It's very unique and it's floral mixed with, like, it definitely matches the bottle in my perspective. Like, it gives a very exuding periwinkle type of color, which means, I don't know, kind of spring, very spring day fragrance with floral notes, and it's like a little bit more mature than girly, but also it leans almost, it's not grandma scent, but
it's a little grandma on the floor.
It's a little bit. So this is very rare for me to use because I'm a little bit.
Here's one that I got for her, by the way, that she's never even smelled before. I literally forgot this has been in a box this whole time. This is Victor and Rolf's Good Fortune. I can't believe this has been in a box this entire time. I even love the little gemstone cap. This is Good Fortune by Victor and Rolf, the Elixir edition, I think it is.
And you just gave this to me as a surprise?
I gave it to her like weeks ago. Before you say anything about it, just smell it, see what you think while I read these comments real quick. So somebody asked about Manceras for the summer months. Perfect question. Oud Lemon Mint by Mancera. Citrat Bois Intense by Mancera, Oud Blue Notes by Mancera, and as well Cosmic Copper. And if you like rose like I do, rose is greedy and rose is vanille. So with that said, let me read a couple more coffee grains. Fantastic. Which do you prefer, Dolce & Gabbana O Intense or Mineral Vibes? O Intense, personally, Sebastian. But Oud Mineral by Tom Ford's a very good choice. I was getting ready to say Old Lady. Yeah. Do you have Mercedes Club Black? I do not have French Riviera. So Redbeard loves French Riviera, and it honestly is a fantastic summer choice. So Oud Lemon Mint, French Riviera, or Oud Blue Notes. Fantastic summer fragrance choices. Sorry, you go ahead.
I also wanted to continue on like
Did you
what
like
to
this,
get
by
your
the way?
girlfriend or wife. Definitely throughout like the days that you get to know them, usually you can kind of get a vibe of if they're a little bit more down to earth or if they like warm scented things, like pay attention to vanilla candles or what type of candles they're buying, or take them into Bath and Body Works and see what they like. That's a really good test.
That's true.
But I love I'm not a warm scenting type of vanilla person, and the Dolce & Gabbana, this one, which one is it called?
Devotion
For
women, and there is a men
I
version.
love this one, and I don't usually like these scents, so that one's my best advice for that one. This one is really good for romantic type of flirty vibes, but also not too sweet.
Yeah.
And
real quick, so why is Cloud Christian so overpriced? So by the way, when my wife actually joins these streams, just to let you guys know, you're going to hear me cut in a lot while she's talking, but again, no offense to her. She's a slow talker, which is perfectly okay. But also I like to keep up with you guys, and if you guys have questions, so that's all it is she's fine with it. You're just going to hear me cut in and answer you guys real quick and then get back to whatever she's saying. And I'm trying to help her. She's a very good salesperson, an accounts manager, but I'm also trying to help her as a business owner develop her skills with like being able to put a pin in something, because if you want to be able to communicate with people effectively, especially public speaking, sometimes you're going to have to learn and train your mind to operate, being able to think, talk, and then somebody asks you a question and you pause real quick what you were saying and then get back to it later. So it's pretty good. But real quick, why is Cloud Christian so expensive? To be honest with you guys, I don't know. It's just mostly a name, just like Christian Louboutin, one of my favorite fragrance houses right now. Argos is a good one that's in the more mid-range, and I think they do a good job. Certain companies do a really good job, but Christian Louboutin, Clive Christian, all that stuff, these are just companies throwing their name on something and charging a bunch of money, and it's not fair. My wife is a mixed simpleton. She like Heretic Perfumes Nosferatu. She likes earthy, dark scents. Hey, you know what?
I feel like the Versace Eros is good for that.
You think what? Earthy, dark scents? You think Versace Eros? You're so cute.
I don't know. It's not sweet like it.
And you're right. They do use top of the line ingredients. That's a big issue. But at the same time, the price is just driving me crazy. Check this one out real quick. I know you've smelled it already, but by the way, you guys asked about oud fragrances. So I got this because it's not Oud Silk Mood, which is my favorite MFK, but this was supposed to be a little bit of a take on Oud Satin Mood. And it's Oud Ministry of Oud Satin. This was like $25. It's just like a rosy, powdery oud fragrance, but it is a monster performer. And I got this just off of a whim. I actually really like it. You don't like it?
I'm not the biggest fan of rose, as you know, but it's very rose heavy.
Has your wife put you onto a fragrance you didn't know about? Absolutely not. I'm the one who's the fragrance person, but
he drags me to Nordstrom. I mean, and makes me smell 20 in a day. Like I could not beat this man. He already knows.
But I will say, trying more women's fragrances with her has helped me continue to learn more about fragrances that I never had, which you didn't answer, by the way.
That's true. He's very hard to predict what I like, which is interesting.
My wife's more on the Gothic side. Well, hey, that's awesome. I got an absolute banger cologne, Paco Rabanne Port Homme I fell in love with. I haven't tried that Port Homme yet, but I will say, one thing that we didn't add when you were testing stuff, just to see, is the Paco Rabanne Elixir. I know you smelled it the other day and you actually kind of liked it.
I'm going to keep that in mind whenever I go to a store next time, though, trying to find like a Gothic fragrance. Oh, I love this one.
Do you really?
Yeah.
But not in your top 5?
Maybe a top 10.
Top
This
10.
one's really good. Yeah.
So this is I don't talk about this one very much, but Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Elixir is also a really good fragrance choice for most people.
I know I've liked that one for a long time too.
Dude, I could go with you and smell probably 1,000 a day. We will definitely have to do that. We're going to come down to Florida and hang out with you. But I just want to take the time again to say thank you guys all, because we're going to end this pretty soon.
Yeah, this was fun.
Thank you all for coming. Again, did you actually tell them your name, by the way?
Oh, my name is Jess.
Jess. I call her Huggy.
It's not Jeff.
Yeah, not Jeff. I call her Huggy because that's just kind of the nickname that started when we very first met. So she's been Huggy to me and the kids. Louis Vuitton Imagination is a banger. Well, I'm glad you like Louis Vuitton Imagination. It smells nice, but like I said, for the price they charge, it's way too basic for me. But hey, everybody's different. But you never did tell me what you think about this.
I love the bottle. We love Amethyst. That's my birthstone.
But you don't really like the smell?
This one, it's like fermented berry.
Let me see.
So it almost smells, it smells sweeter than a wine, but it's giving like a blackberry type of.
Because I like floral stuff, to be honest with you, I might actually wear this. Have a great day. Fragrances are so addictive. They absolutely are. No, I actually might end up finding myself wearing something like this at some point.
I don't know if I go
try Eau Sauvage. I don't have Eau Sauvage. I only currently have Sauvage Eau de Toilette, and then Parfum, and then Elixir. So a friend of mine actually gave me what he had.
What that is. This spray's on heavy.
A friend of mine actually. Oh, that smells really good.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, a friend of mine gave me the rest of what he had left of his Sauvage Eau de Toilette yesterday. And to be honest with you, I actually really do like it.
This actually might be a good one for that Gothic girlfriend, because this is very like
Gothic wife. But yes.
Oh God, I just kissed it.
Well, in that case, honestly, this might be a really good suggestion for you, Redbeard.
Yeah,
Good Fortune.
It's mystical. It's deep and very like dark berry.
Good Fortune Elixir Intense by Victor and Rolf. Definitely a fantastic fragrance choice. I used to hate on Creed Aventus, but I understood that it's pretty good. It is a good, so Creed Aventus is an overall good fragrance. The problem is just that it doesn't perform as well as you would like it to for what it's worth, but it isn't bad. Eau Sauvage, get your nose on it, it grows on you. I do like Eau Sauvage, I just don't have it. But with that being said, we're going to run through one more time my wife's 5 favorites that she, so this is now number 6.
Yes, but I want to keep it on there.
Okay, my wife's top 6 favorite fragrances for me personally, like men's fragrances: Jean Paul Gaultier's Lemale Elixir, Joe Malone's Cypress and Grapevine Cologne Intense, Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum, Xerjoff's Torino 22, Islands Vanilla Dunes by Hod Lodge, which again, she even likes that more than the original Altair, and then Initio's Side Effect is going to be her number 6. I'll check it out. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call this particular stream to a close. As usual, anybody of you who don't know, again, I imagine almost every last one of you guys is going to drop off of here completely when I do this, but I always end my streams with a prayer. Anybody in the world is welcome to my streams. I don't care I don't care where you're from or what you believe in. Everybody's welcome to be here. Again, she'll tell you, I love studying things way too much. I've read the Quran multiple times, the Gita, the Dhammapada, the Ramayana, the Parayas, all that stuff. Reading things and studying things is what means the world to me, but I'm personally Christian. But I still welcome anybody to join in, and it's totally okay if you disagree. If you want to get out of here, that's perfectly fine too. But we're about to end the stream, and I'm going to end it with a prayer. So if that's not okay with you, you're more than welcome to go on and get out of here. Absolutely, I agree with you, Sebastian. So everybody okay? Everybody going to get out of here if you can get out of here? By the way, while I pray real quick, if you want to, you're more than welcome to leave a few more comments, ask a few more questions, and I might try to answer them real quick when we're done praying. But anyway, let her rip tater chip. So nobody here's into this. But anyway, dear God, Father in heaven, thank you again for another beautiful day with my wife, my best friend in the entire world. Thank you. Watch out for the microphone. Thank you for letting us have this time together. Thank you for letting her have the day off so that we can celebrate my birthday one more time. Thank you for just letting me have this beautiful life and family. Thank you for grace and mercy. But most importantly as well, right now, I want to appreciate and give thanks for everybody who's been in these chats, whatever they believe, wherever they are in this world. I hope that they come to know you. I hope that they come to experience that they have so much purpose, like not just one purpose, but many, many purposes that they're here in this world. And they have meaning There's not a single person on this earth who wasn't originally made with value and purpose and meaning. So I thank you for that. But I also thank you for the free will to make our own choices and to go any direction we choose, so that we can learn from our mistakes, and that so we can also get closer to you when we start to find our paths in this life that you made. So we love you, God, and we lift everything up to you. We're just thankful for another day. I'm thankful for all these people. I pray for peace and satisfaction and long-term endearment in their life. And in your name, Jesus, we thank you for your love and your sacrifice and your grace and your mercy. Amen. Amen. So again, everybody's always welcome here. If you disagree with the way we are about things, that's perfectly fine. But I still want to just have a community where it's not just, again, somebody talking about fragrances, but it's just like having fragrance and community as a whole and becoming friends with each other and getting to know each other. So that I never just seem like some YouTube guy, but instead somebody we can all become friends with. But anyway, I'm Andrew, aka Douglas Moon.
I'm Jess.
This is my Huggy Moon. That's what you're gonna be from now on, Huggy Moon. But anyway, let's see. Another Christian here finding this channel 4 a.m. ain't gonna be good for my bank account. Well, God bless you, Lofty Banks. Want to buy so many more fragrances, but I don't regret. Wholesome channel. Well, thank you for being here again. You guys are welcome anytime. If you enjoyed watching, I'm here every Wednesday. She normally works Wednesdays, but sometimes she had time off. I'm also, again, thinking about doing like some Saturdays and Sunday mornings as well. So whenever I get to do those, maybe she'll join in too if you guys had a good time. And I'm going to finish this off by just saying that I appreciate you guys. Please go, actually, if you like this, go watch my real reviews. So I do 5 to 10 minute reviews. I post one once a week, like long form videos. Watching those and commenting on those and like watching them as long as you can is what gives me like the best performance overall in the algorithm and puts YouTube putting me more out there so that I can actually continue to do this. So if you guys are willing to do that, I really appreciate you and your love and support. Watch out for the furry mouse on your collar. You're absolutely right. That's gonna get me. It's gonna get me. But real quick, I will say, as far as my favorite personal fragrances, because she did her top 5, but it's really hard for me to do mine. And they actually do keep changing, to be honest with you guys. But my actual favorite, it's funny that she picked this. It really is, because last night I was sitting there thinking, what's my real favorite fragrances? Like if I had to actually choose. And I ended up landing my number 1. I know I've been saying Naxos by Xerjoff for a while. Love you from, I don't know where that is, but we love you too, buddy. Thank you for being here. I'm a jokester. You don't have to be sorry whatsoever. We appreciate you. What's the Golden Black? That's literally Love Bug, what I was about to talk about. This is actually my favorite fragrance in the entire world. Like I've had time to really think about it and process it. And it's still kind of a tie. But Jean-Paul Gaultier's Lemale Elixir was like one of the first fragrances that really hit me like a train and spoke to me in a different way. So this is Jean-Paul Gaultier's Lemale Elixir, or Lemale Elixir. And I think that might be my favorite, although it is kind of tied. And then I'm going,
the Lemales, like, you can't really go wrong.
And then I'm going to go with Xerjoff's Naxos and 40 knots. And definitely Sauvage Parfum has managed to find its way up. Eros Parfum. But to be real with you guys, I don't think I could actually choose like a serious, like super duper favorite, because there's too many that are tied together that I love so much. Tried Lemon Lime by Mancera. I have not, but I've seen those and I really want to get to know if they're any good. Why does the cologne got? That's a really good question. It's just the way that the company Jean-Paul Gaultier, when they designed them, that's just what they did. They gave it like a man's body physique style. I don't personally care for it myself, but I love the fragrance. I do love the way they did the Le Beau, though. They gave it the little like leaf type of deal. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you so much. And we're about to head out of here. Anybody got any more questions before we go? 1 more or 2 more things real quick. But no, I have not tried the lemon lime, but I definitely would like to. But again, if you guys had a good time, if you had to scrap all your fragrances, but 2 you keep, which one would you keep? Okay, well, if that was going to be really the case and I keep them forever, then Jean-Paul Gaultier's Lemale Elixir and Versace Eros Parfum, because that would be super easy to just keep forever. What y'all think about Chrome? I'm not sure. My kids say the Buzz look handsome, Squidward. Yeah, it does.
It's true. That's what I was.
Well, I'm going to see you guys next time. Again, I'm Douglas Moon, and this is my wife.
Jess.
This is Jess. And we appreciate you guys for being here. Y'all have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.